Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Why Are We Like This, a Heartstopper podcast. I'm Ashley, she, her.
And I'm Alyssa, she, they. And today we are here to revisit season 1 with a very special guest. We have husband of the pod and media over analyst.
Oh, it's me. Hi. I'm Eddy. Oh God, I messed it up. Him. That's what I was supposed to say. And yes, I am Alyssa's husband. That's me.
Do not edit any of that. Just that stays 100%.
Wow. This is our last rewind episode before season 2.
I'm having a lot of emotions.
There'll be true rewind episodes after this one.
Oh my God. I'm feeling a lot of feelings.
Yeah.
When this comes out, there'll be like 2 days left.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
I'm not well.
And we're getting showered with content.
We are.
And information. It's been a whirlwind of a few days.
It's like we were starving in the desert for months and months and months, and we've just come upon a literal smorgasbord.
Yeah.
And they just keep setting out new things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At time of recording, we just got the list of the track list for the score. So that's what we're referring to presently.
Yeah, I can't wait to overanalyze that and like place all my theories in a timeline based on the song titles. So
I've already got a few things going.
Mm-hmm. I know what I'll be doing tonight.
Yep. All right. So do we want to just start out with and I think I know the answer to this question. I don't know why. I don't know how I might have knowledge of this, but how did you come to find Heartstopper, Eddy?
Oh, yeah. Well, gosh, I mean, it's a pretty good story. My wife really liked the show.
Wait,
when
what?
she watched it. Yeah, and then she started doing this really cool podcast about Heartstopper because she was such a big fan. And I started listening to the podcast to be supportive. And I was like, I have no idea what anybody's saying. And so that's when I decided to watch the show. So that's how I came upon Heartstopper. And I watched it and I thought it was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Yeah, we will. Especially because what you left out was the literal months of me being like, hey, do you want to watch it? Hey, do you want to watch it?
Yeah. So it's not a type of show that I would generally watch, mostly because I'm just not super interested in a lot of the like high school romance type of shows and movies. Not that they're bad or anything, just that, you know, it's not like content that I generally engage with. That being said, though, I did find Heartstopper to be like a very good quality. Like it was, I thought it was well written and well acted, and there was a lot of good stuff about it. So it was a really enjoyable watch, you know, more so than I guess I would have expected going in. Because I think a lot of stuff in a similar genre is not as, I think, well made as Heartstopper.
I'm hearing a lot of the same excuses I get from my partner. But
I don't know if it's excuses. It's
mine
just, you know,
hasn't watched it, so it is an excuse. He should have watched it by now.
All right. Well, now you'll have this podcast episode. Just play it on a loop, and maybe it'll like guilt him into finally watching it.
I did tell him earlier, I was like, Eddy is the guest tonight, you know, because he watched the show.
All right. So I know you kind of already started getting into this, but do you want to kind of share your overall thoughts and feelings on the entirety of season 1? So this can be more of the like quality of the filmmaking. This can be like the story or like anything that, you know,
music.
General thoughts, etc.
Yeah, I liked it quite a bit. I think one of the things that really stands out about the show to me is a lot of the characters come off as really like realistic really like true to life kind of things. Like a lot of the characters, I don't know about you guys, but I like watching them. I'm like, yeah, I knew a bunch of people who were like this person or whatever when I went to high school. And I think there's like some knock-on effects from that where a lot of the drama and stuff doesn't feel forced in the show, which I think is what you get in a lot of similar like teen, relationship type of media. A lot of the drama and stuff feels like a natural progression of the characters and them interacting with each other and their different, needs and wants and ideas, smashing into each other because they're all forced to be in one place. That's what kind of is an interesting thing about high school type of stories. It's that everyone has to be here all the time because it's school. And Heartstopper, I think, uses the setting well. But yeah, I think the characters for me is like the noticeable big strength of the show. I mean, the plot is, two kids like each other, right? Like, but I think the characters stand out as really strong. Even like some of the characters that don't have nearly as much screen time, it feels like, and maybe this is because it's adapted from a comic and maybe they were able to like study some of the stuff in the comics. I'm not sure. I didn't read them, but like even the characters that don't have that much screen time feel, like people, they feel like they have personalities and things going on in their lives. So that's, I feel like I'm talking for too long in a row. I don't know.
You're the guest.
That's true. I am the guest. I am in charge now.
That's like part of the reason that I was like, have we considered Eddy? Because you like to talk.
I do. I'm a talker.
Good at it.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice.
So, thinking about season 1, what are some of your like standout favorite moments and or least favorite moments?
A moment that really stood out to me, especially I rewatched the show over the last couple of days before this so that I would have it fresh. And one of the moments that really stood out to me, well, actually two, and they kind of almost are related, is in, I think it's the second episode, when Charlie and Nick are at Charlie's place and they're watching a movie and Charlie falls asleep and Nick is like thinking about holding his hand and he's like reaching his hand over and there's like the 2D animated like lights and sparks and stars and stuff. I thought that was a really great moment. And another moment that really stood out to me on the rewatch was in, I think it's in the Bully or Boyfriend. It's in one of those two episodes. When Charlie's having a tough old time and he's thinking about breaking up with Nick because he thinks that Charlie thinks that himself is a bad person who shouldn't be dated. And he has like a flashback to a scene that we hadn't seen yet because it happened before the show started, of him and Ben like meeting up in the library, and Charlie asks Ben if they're like boyfriends or whatever, and Ben like scoffs at him and like insults him. Similarly, the thing that really stood out about that scene was the like 2D animation that comes in during that, because the scene is like very like dark and like shadowy, but then it's like amplified with like 2D animated like shadows like creeping in on them and like, like darkening like and deadening the whole world around them. So those moments kind of stood out to me on the rewatch as like particularly strong moments for both Nick and Charlie's characterizations. The reason I think that they both did so much was something I really noticed on the rewatch, was that like a super strong element of the production of Heartstopper is the lighting. Mm-hmm. A lot of scenes are super well lit to like express and enhance the emotions of the characters and the scenes that are happening. A especially noticeable way that that's done is in the beginning of the show. Whenever Charlie meets up with Ben, everything is very darkly lit. There's lots of shadows and darkness and stuff. And not just in the library, which is that way because I guess nobody's there. Nobody used the library during the school day. I'm not really sure. what's going on there.
It's like the beginning of the day too, so it might not be like fully opened up yet.
Yeah, but the other places where they meet as well. And this stays throughout the show, so it's clearly intentional. Like even like when they meet, when Ben confronts Charlie, like in the parking lot or whatever, it's like, you know, it's super dark. Like they're not even under like a street lamp or whatever.
I waxed poetic about the construction of that scene.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good. I was like, this is incredible. I hate everything that's happening, but I love all of the things that they did to make it happen.
And when Charlie meets Nick for the first time, when he walks into that room, Nick is like almost like wreathed in light when Charlie walks into that room. He's surrounded by open windows and the sun is like shining through them. But then there's other instances of that as well. Obviously there's like the hand thing when they in what's the episode called? Kiss, when they meet up at the party, they're like coming at each other from across the room and it's like a dark dance floor. But right when they like reach each other, there's this bright light that comes on like behind them in the middle. And stuff like that happens throughout the show to show this kind of contrast between, you know, this good thing and the bad thing. And like that's like something that like, it sounds like simple, but like, you know, they took the effort and time to do it and keep it up throughout the production. And it's not, I mean, there's other things as well. I won't point out every example of good lighting in the show, but that's one that's like really easy to follow through, but there's a lot of other ones as well. I think when we were talking about it, Alyssa, you also mentioned there's like a number of like rainbow lens flares that happen throughout the show and some other like small things like that. But yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff there.
Eddy is also a former film student, for those of you who were wondering.
If you couldn't tell. Well, and I mean, that kind of stuff is like, and that kind of like effort that was, you know, put in by the people making the show is, I think, like a thing that kind of elevates this over other similar stuff.
You can say the CW.
Sure. I mean, the CW is a big proponent of that kind of teen, you know, romance, melodrama content. But yeah, I mean, it's clear that people making this really cared a lot. And that's always appreciated and can make it like something enjoyable to watch. I mean, it was enjoyable to watch for me, and I wasn't that interested in it on spec, you know, so I feel like that could probably be true for other people as well. Like for example, right? Like maybe like someone that was, you know, romantically involved with Ashley. Like, yeah, I'm helping.
I'm gonna force him to listen to this.
I was already thinking that should be a reel, but that sold it. That's a reel. Did you have any other one? Wait, we're gonna hang on because I don't think we really got into least favorite moments, and I know you have some of those.
Yeah, I wasn't really taking note of those when I was doing my rewatch, but I could probably think of some off the top of my head. In the first episode, when Charlie and Nick are in the hallway and Charlie like tries to help Nick with his math homework, I guess. It's like super awkwardly done and I don't think it's on purpose. Like it's like it doesn't come off as like I think a lot of the acting in the show is great. And that moment like really came off as super like unnatural to me.
What?
No.
Yeah, I didn't dig it. I like what it was meant to be, right? Like Nick accidentally writes on Charlie, you know, with the blue pen. And obviously, like throughout the show, like blue is a color that's like very strongly associated with Nick's character. Mm-hmm. Right. And so like he gets the blue ink on Charlie. And so it's like a connection point. I like the idea of the scene, right? And he like, you know, he like turns the accidental pen mark into a happy face. Right. Like I like the idea of the scene. I just like oh, let me help you with the homework. No, I got like, I feel like that back and forth was like really awkward.
But have we considered that it was on purpose?
No, it didn't seem like purposely awkward because like Nick didn't react to how awkward Charlie was being. Like Nick was acting as if Charlie was being normal. So
I think that tracks for their characters.
Yeah,
Maybe,
a little bit.
maybe.
A little bit.
You know,
You have to remember that Nick is a little golden retriever baby.
all right, that's just my opinion. This is just my feelings. But yeah, I guess I don't have a lot of least favorite moments. Maybe like the fight scene with Tao and Harry. It was like like not a single punch was thrown. They just kind of like held each other's hands and like rocked back and forth and like squirted a juice box. It was a little like, do you guys run out of time to film this? Or
I remember when we watched that episode together and you were like, have they never seen a fight between two high school boys?
Yeah, it was a little weird. I don't know that I have a lot of like moments that I like didn't like, I guess. Is there something that you were thinking of, Alyssa?
Yeah, I remember you saying that Girls, episode 6, was maybe your least favorite when we watched through it the first time. And I thought you had some good points about that. I can remind you of them.
Yeah, what were they? I mean, they were probably great, but
it was that some of the stuff with Tara seemed a little bit underdeveloped.
Oh, yeah. I guess I wasn't really thinking about that on my rewatch. But yeah, it was the kind of thing where I can't remember exactly what my point was, but I think I had said that like I'm not sure where they like what they could have cut to do this, but it felt like they didn't spend enough time on Tara's kind of like arc that she has in that like episode, like because she like obviously like she like comes out and then like she like everyone, I guess like she just no one like made their opinion clear about lesbians before. So she just assumed that everyone was cool with it. And then a lot of people weren't cool with it. And then, she's dealing with that. But a lot of that like kind of takes a back seat, which I know Tara and Darcy are not the main characters. I'm aware of that. And then, it feels like it just gets like kind of almost resolved by just all the friends showing up at the end and being like concert time. And I get that it's nice that her friends are there to support her, but it didn't like the problem didn't like really get addressed, and maybe that stuff's going to happen in season 2, or maybe it's not going to happen. I don't know.
It could. I'm thinking about some of the stuff in the comics and in Paris, and it might tie in a little bit.
Yeah. I think there's not like a lot of like super weak moments though. At least I didn't think so. Yeah. I mean, Tao like as a character is a bit, I don't know, like maybe this is too harsh, but like is somewhat grating. But it doesn't feel like an accident. Like it feels like the show knows that that's the case, like
yeah.
It feels like the show is aware of Tao's personality and how he comes off to people.
Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be better in season 2. I think we'll have softer feelings about Tao.
Yeah, I mean, the main conflict with why Tao annoys me has been resolved, so that there's that.
Yeah. I had other moments that I liked a lot, I think.
Let's hear 'em.
That's okay.
Keep going.
I think so there's a moment in the first episode, and it comes up again in how many episodes are there? 8 in the 7th episode. In the first episode, a little ways into the show, Charlie goes and like sits in the art room where he I guess has been eating lunch for a long time because of being bullied and such, which is not great. Don't bully Charlie, okay? But there's like this really great piece of imagery that happens in that scene where Charlie it cuts to Charlie sitting in the art room, and there's an overhead shot of him sitting in this like corner.
Mm-hmm.
It's his sadness corner.
Yeah. He's like up against the cabinets, and like under him on the floor, there's this like painting of a tree. And like there's there's these branches like coming out from the what the image is. It's an overhead of Charlie, and in front of him, there's these branches, and behind him, there's just this whole like crazy mess of all splattered paint. And like to me, like what that imagery is suggesting is that like there's this mess like behind him and around him, and it's made up of all this like splattered paint, all these like different colors, like a rainbow, if you will. And so there's like this like whole like mess that his life kind of has become, and it's like, because of him being out, right? That's why the mess is made up of all the different colors and such.
Mm-hmm.
That's, but then in front of him, there's all the branches, right? There's like these branching
The
paths
roots
that he can take, right? And it's at this point in the show where he hasn't yet made the choice about not wanting to meet up with Ben anymore. And he's just starting to feel like he might be having a crush on Nick Nelson, right? And so it's like there's all these different paths in front of him, and he's got choices to make, and it could go kind of different ways. And there's still, like, on the floor, like on top of and underneath that painting of the tree, there's still all these like splatters of different colors and stuff, suggesting that, like, whatever path he goes on, there's still going to be kind of a mess, but it's going to be less so. Like, the behind him, the cabinets and everything are just like, they're fucked, right? But like in front of him, it's basically saying like, hey, you got some choices to make, but things don't have to keep being so bad. And I thought that was like some really powerful imagery. And also, like, again, it's an overhead shot of him and he's like right in the center. So like behind him, half the shot is like all this chaos. And then in front of him, there's these branches with flowers, but there's still like some element of chaos there as well. So like, to me, I thought it was like this really strong imagery of like, here's kind of what the show is going to be. And I do think it's also important to note that I'm likely very much overanalyzing this imagery. But that said, we do get the same imagery again in Bully near the end of the episode, when Charlie is feeling like he's going to have to break up with Nick because Nick got into a fight with Harry over Harry bullying him. So maybe I'm not overanalyzing it. Maybe it's on purpose. Or maybe they said, hey, this looks cool, and then it accidentally fit really well.
Given the like role that Alice Oseman played on set, and given that they're like an artist because they made a whole comic, I have to imagine, especially because like a lot of the art is either like originally designed by Alice or like really heavily inspired by Alice's art style. So I have to imagine that was, very conscious choice.
And all the stuff in the art room like evolves and changes as the show goes on, so you can see like the time passing through it. So I have to imagine everything was intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was really, really good. And like that happening in the first episode kind of like sold me on the show, and like watching through the rest of it, because I was like, whoa, somebody really cares a lot about making this show. So I liked that quite a bit.
Yeah, that's something that I hadn't thought of before. So,
I'm sure you guys have mentioned this, but I really like about the show that we get to kind of see into the characters' heads through them like typing text messages and then not sending them, like typing it and then deleting it and deciding to put something else. Like, I think it was a really neat way to give us like not just like what they're thinking, but like their thought process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's just really good visual storytelling throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Right, now, do we want to do Ashley's favorite part?
Ashley's favorite part.
Now we want to get your ratings for each episode on the Heartstopometer.
Okay. Well, episode 1 on the 1 to 5 Heartstopometer, which I keep wanting to say Heartstopometer, which is awful. That's a terrible way to pronounce that.
That's why there's no hyphenation. It's just Heartstopometer.
Yeah. I gave that one a 3. I didn't think there was any like super like, oh wow, so cute type of moments in the show, but there was some nice little moments with Nick and Charlie getting to know each other. So I gave that one a 3.
Okay.
Crush, the second episode, I gave a 4. The that was the one with the hover hand and the animated thing. I thought that was very cute, very heart-stoppy.
And the snow scene.
Yeah, that was great as well. Also unrelated to the Heartstopometer, just Nick Googling "Am I gay?" was really funny. That was incredibly funny. Kiss. that got a 5. We topped out the scale with that one. Lots of nice little moments, especially obviously the titular kiss. That was really good. Secret, that one I gave a 3 to that one.
That's generous for Secret.
Yeah, I really liked when Charlie runs back out into the rain to kiss Nick.
That's true.
And he gives him the blue and yellow umbrella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of did it for me. Give it up to a 3. Friend, I gave a 5. You know, they had some very cute moments in the arcade there. They said the thing. Well, Nick did.
Yeah.
He said, "Why are we like this?" Did you guys know the name of this podcast is a quote in the show? Do you guys know that?
What?
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
I thought that was crazy. So I gave that one a 5. Girls, I gave that one a 6. And that was kind of like that one was more of an additive score because there's a lot of things with Nick that all I think add up because they're all like a similar thing where he's like, you know, finding comfort, you know, and ways to like tell people that he and Charlie are going out, you know, and it's clear like the actor, what's the name of the actor that plays Nick?
Kit Connor.
Kit Connor, he's really good.
He did win an Emmy for this role.
He the thing he's super good at, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff, but the thing he's super good at is like showing like the like under the surface emotions that the character has.
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean is that episode, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So like, you know, like Nick is expressing one emotion because that's what he should be doing. But then it's clear to the audience what he's feeling underneath that as a different emotion. And that's like probably challenging to do as an actor. And he's very good at it. And you can tell in this episode that like Nick is like really wanting to like tell people. It's almost like this, you know, the secret, right, is like having trouble staying in there. And I also I think it's like really interesting that Nick is more comfortable telling people he's with Charlie than he is talking about like his sexuality and potentially being bisexual. Mm-hmm. And I like how that kind of shows us as the audience that like, you know, he's still figuring his own stuff out, but what he's sure of is that he really likes Charlie. He's sure of how he feels about Charlie.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So I gave that one a 6. Bully, I put a 2 on the heart.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Didn't you know, do a lot of stopping of the heart there.
It has a couple of things going for it. It's got Shut Up Rugby Lad.
Yeah, there's a nice moment with Tori as well.
Yeah.
Who is the best character, obviously.
She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then Boyfriend, that one we did a 10 out of 5.
Nice.
On Boyfriend. Mostly for like that last scene on the beach. Well, I guess it's 2 scenes because there's a whole scene in the middle and then we go back to the beach. But the beach stuff and, you know, some of this stuff at the field day as well. But obviously very,
field
very cute.
Sports day.
Sports day. Whatever. I'm not British, okay?
Your American is showing.
Oh no. They're going to find out. Quick. You want some fish and chips? Now they'll never know I'm American. Yeah, Boyfriend, that was the most heart-stopping episode, in my opinion.
So speaking of the beach,
yes.
Did you have any issues with anything that transpires during the beach scene, notably regarding the wardrobe of one Nicholas Nelson?
Was it him going in the water with his socks on?
Not just his socks, his shoes.
And his shoes, yeah.
And they took a train there, Eddie.
That's true. Yeah, he's going to have a rough, uncomfortable ride home.
I don't like it.
We bring this up with everybody. This is not just you.
Yeah. I mean, you know, but he was in his feelings at the time, so he probably wasn't thinking about it.
Yeah, I do say it is the most like golden retriever-y thing he does all season.
Yeah, he was shouting to the ocean that he likes Charlie in a romantic way, not just a friend way.
Yeah, and then, Charlie the cat runs after him, but he stops at the water line. He's like, fuck no, I'm not getting that water.
Yeah, I got socks on. No way.
Exactly.
That's my ratings. Do.
Honestly, that did not go the way that I thought it was going to go. All of your ratings were higher than I was expecting. So
yeah, I was like, you're a very measured person, and you don't get very like about things. I don't have an actual word for that, so I was really surprised that there were episodes that
did I have to have like a out loud like I could just like feel it, right? I don't have to like.
No, the squeal is required.
Oh, okay. Then minus all those by like 3 or 4, I guess.
Yeah.
What is the next part?
Do you have any favorite songs from the soundtrack or musical cues from the score?
Yes, I have one of each.
Ooh,
nice.
Okay.
So I think my favorite song that appears in the show, or at least for long enough that I heard enough of it to consider it. There's some songs that are just there for like a couple seconds, and maybe those are great songs. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go seek them out. But what I think it's in the bowling episode, maybe. If You Want To by Biba Doobie.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite song from the show.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that you picked a Biba Doobie song. You're married to Alyssa and you picked a Biba Doobie song.
What's that?
I love Biba Doobie. My favorite is Dance With Me, which is also a Biba Doobie song.
Well, I actually, I've heard this song because Alyssa has it on like a playlist or something. Uh-huh. And I was like, yo, this song kind of slaps. And so I went, to find more music from this artist, and like, man, none of her other stuff sounds like If You Want To. And I was disappointed. I was disappointed. Not that it was bad. It was just, I was like, oh, I'm digging this.
Different vibe,
and then very different sound from the rest of her music. Mm-hmm. So that was, I think, my favorite song from the show. My favorite, like musical cue or whatever. I don't know how you worded it. In Crush, in the opening scene, the song Sappho plays, and I felt like out of every song that appears in the show, that one fit the most with the emotions of the characters and scenes while it was playing. Mm-hmm. It was like really well matched to what was going on, whereas I feel like a lot of the songs in the show, it's more of like the music and the tone of the song is like the right vibe and it fits the scene, but like the lyrics don't necessarily. But that one, I think it was firing on all cylinders with the music choice there. So that was, I think, my favorite soundtrack choice in the show. I'm
gonna stop skipping that song in the car now.
Well, I didn't say I liked the song that much. I'm saying that it worked really well with the scene.
It does. It just feels right. Like, it just feels like it belongs. I think I said that when we recorded, either that it felt right or it feels like Charlie's room. Like, it just it fits so well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was in the music episode because I talked about, it's Sappho and it's the classics.
Yeah.
Enthusiast in him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and the song, I didn't go and independently listen to it and analyze it. So apologies if I got the wrong read here. But from what's in the show, the song appears to be about like the person singing the song wondering what's going on in the head of the person they're singing to. Mm-hmm. And then obviously like it's, like the song, like the, because it's like, oh, what are you reading? Are you reading Sappho? Is interesting as well, because obviously Sappho not only, wrote a bunch of like love poems, but was notably gay. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I thought that was the most well fit song to the moment that it was played. But I like the If You Want To by Biba Doobie the best.
Sappho is one of the only songs they play in full. That was the full song is in the scene.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It fit all the way around. They didn't even have to cut it.
Yeah, it's so good. Frankie Cosmos is like an artist that I haven't really like deep dived into, but like since watching the show, like anytime that like Spotify like in like a recommended or whatever, a Frankie Cosmos song comes on, I always enjoy it.
Yeah.
I can't like off the top of my head like remember the ones that I've ended up like saving to like my liked songs, but there's a few of them on there now.
Yeah, they are floating around some of my playlists, but I haven't. We're both the same way where we put it off because we know like once we take that dive, like that we're going to be like living in that land for a while. So it's like you got to be prepared to like fully dive into it.
Yeah. All right. So Eddy, I think I warned you about this, but do you have a favorite quote or quotes from the show?
I do.
Good.
I think my favorite quote, well, I have two that I really like. The first one is in Bully, when Charlie's like, how do you just appear out of nowhere? And Tori's like, older sister magic.
Yes.
And it's just kind of funny on its own. But like the fact that like she really like in all her scenes, like it's like Charlie will like move a little and she's now behind him in the frame in a doorway or what, like she just appears the way that like she is in the show. It makes it extra funny.
So in the comics, literally,
does she actually have older sister magic?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can't confirm the existence of older sister magic. If I were to say anything, they'd take away my older sister card, and it's a whole thing.
Of course, yeah.
So in the comics, every time that Tori just kind of appears out of nowhere like that, just the word "appear" is written over her head.
And then I also liked in Crush when Mr. Ajayi says, "I'm officially a beacon of learning, so fire away." I thought that was not only a funny quote out of context, but like the delivery was really good as well.
Yeah, Mr. Ajayi is great.
Yeah, that's another character that, at least in the show, has like a very small presence, but makes a really big impression with it.
Yeah.
So speaking of Mr. Ajayi, like having a small presence, we do get a bit more of him coming in season 2. So what are you looking forward to for season 2? Because we know you're gonna have to watch it. So
and Ashley, just a warning, he has not read the comics, so we may need to dissociate slightly at certain points.
Okay, thank you for the warning.
I mean, I'm not super worried about spoilers, especially because they could do some things slightly differently, I suppose.
True.
So I am in season 2 looking forward to, I don't think anything surprising, to seeing how things are going to develop with Nick moving towards being more open with him and Charlie's relationship and with his bisexuality. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that progresses. That'll be interesting. Besides that, I guess just kind of, that, I mean, the first season doesn't leave like a ton of hanging threads, which is nice, I suppose, because it was on Netflix. So there was, probably like an 80% chance it was going to be
right, exactly.
It didn't, but so that's, I think, the thing I'm most looking forward to. And then, just kind of seeing how some of the other characters continue to evolve and develop. I think, Alyssa, you had mentioned that Imogen is a show original character, right? Like she's not in the comics. Mm-hmm. I liked Imogen. I thought that she was written and acted like in a way that was like incredibly like realistic for like a person that's got like this unrequited crush. So it'll be, apparently she's going to be in season 2, you said. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with her. We'll see how Tao and Elle's relationship develops. Yeah, I don't think there's anything surprising for me with what are you looking forward to in season 2. Just, more of the show, I guess, is my answer.
That's fair.
Yeah. Do you have anything that you're excited to see me see?
No. I don't know.
You don't know?
I mean, one thing that I guess I'm hoping for rather than looking forward to is I hope that things just go good for Nick and Charlie in terms of between the two of them. Like, I hope that the challenges that they're going to face are going to be them two as a team against outside stuff. I don't want them to have a whole bunch of, big old fight and stuff. I kind of hate that. I like when characters that, have an established relationship and they're like, yeah, we fit well together and like each other and we will be together. I like when that's what happens in media instead of like, we're now together, time to fight. Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're going to end up having some kind of big fight or something, I don't want it to happen so soon. They kind of just, figured out being in a relationship. So that's a hope I have, I guess, more than a looking forward to.
I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Are you waking up with me at 3 a.m. on August 3rd to watch the show with me when it first drops on Netflix?
I thought we were watching it at the season 2 watch party.
That is going to be my 5th watch.
Oh, no, I'll probably watch it then.
You're gonna wait that long?
Isn't it like a week or like 4 days or something?
It's like 3 days.
Like 3 days.
That's a long time to wait.
It's okay. I'm patient. And plus, then if Alyssa's like, oh, we need more chips, I can be like, well, I haven't watched the show, so you're going to have to go to the kitchen and get those chips.
The disrespect.
It's all part of the strategy.
All right. Well, is there anything else at all that you wanted to talk about with the show or the, questions, comments, concerns, anything about season 1, stuff about season 2?
I think I talked about a lot of the stuff that I took notes about during my rewatch. In episode 1, I don't think Isaac says a single word. That was weird. He's just kind of there, like he's in the scenes, but
but he's great.
He's just not saying anything at all.
I do believe he says, "Didn't you do that yesterday too?"
Oh, does he? Okay, I must have missed that.
Yeah, he does when Tao is complaining about how he got Elle's juice.
Gotcha.
I do think that is his one line, though.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So I don't think I have anything else.
Oh, I have another question for you.
Yes.
What do you think of Tao's taste in film?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Tao comes off in the show as like someone who's like very like kind of like snobby, like elitist just for the sake of it, or just because like they think that's what makes you intelligent about film or those kind of things. Like it's okay to like, movies that lots of people like. You're allowed to like things that are popular. It's okay. It doesn't make you a bad film connoisseur.
What do you think his problem with Marvel is?
I mean, there are problems with Marvel. There's a lot of them.
What do you think he doesn't like?
The Avengers, though, from 2012 is not one of them. That movie was sick.
Yeah, but he hates it, so.
Yeah, well, and then like, he says that he likes Donnie Darko, but he doesn't seem to be able to explain why, which makes me feel like he just likes Donnie Darko because it's esoteric. Like, whereas I like Donnie Darko because I can explain why it's good and no one wants to hear it, And then if you let me go on long enough, it will whip all the way back around to actually it's not that good. Which, is true. It's really good, but it's also at the same time not that good.
What movie? So if you had a movie night with Tao, what movie would you suggest that you think would be an enjoyable time for both you and Tao?
I don't know. I guess I'd just let him pick something. It doesn't seem like feels like it wouldn't be a worthwhile like debate over. I don't know. I wonder like if Tao would like watching bad movies, you know? Because I think that's a lot of fun. I like watching
like the Asylum kind of stuff.
Yeah. Like, well, I mean, back in the pre-Sharknado Asylum, that is 3 words together that a lot of people are gonna be like, "What was that English?" The bad movies. Everyone knows, the popular ones like The Room and such. I wonder if he would enjoy a little bit of bad movie watching.
A little bit of Nazis at the center of the universe kind of.
Nazis at the center of the earth. That's such a good bad movie.
I still haven't seen it.
It's also, I think it's got an ellipses in the title. I can't remember. Like Nazis at the center of the earth. Like
some Mars attacks.
Yeah. Like the kind of movie where they didn't have enough money to make a prop weapon, so they bought a Nerf blaster and spray painted it black. Like
Velocipaster.
Yeah. Wolf Cop. All that stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what I'd do. I'd put a bad movie on if I had a film night with Tao.
So, Eddy, can you let everyone know where they can find you if they want to follow you?
Yeah. If you want to hear me talk about other stuff that's not Heartstopper, I do have a YouTube channel. The channel name is Siege Maximo. That's all one word, SIEGEMAXIMO. And I have a series that I'm doing there now. Alyssa appears in it. So if you like her, and even if you didn't like me, you could go over there for more Alyssa content. She's great. Where we've set up a tournament bracket, like a March Madness style tournament for all the comic book superhero movies. And we have, for like over a year now, been watching all of them in head-to-head matchups and eliminating them one by one to find the best comic book superhero movie. There's like 8 or 9 episodes out so far, and more to come. So yeah, that's where you can find me if you liked my opinions or my voice or my wife, any of those.
Yeah, I'm particularly proud of the one, and I'm not particularly pleased with this experience, but where we watched the New Mutants, because I somehow managed to go on for a decent amount of time about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So nice. If you want to hear that.
That movie made a bad Buffy reference, and so that allowed Alyssa an inroad to talk about Buffy for a while.
You kept a decent portion of it. I was surprised.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting,
Yeah.
Well, guys, I really appreciate you having me on your podcast. I was definitely the first choice. Don't let anyone tell you different. Not a backup.
All right. So, of course, this is a bi-weekly podcast by 2 bisexuals, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but we will be back in 2 weeks with season 2, episode 1 out.
Yeah.
If you want to follow us online, we are at Why Are We Cast on all platforms. And if you like this, please consider rating and reviewing us on your preferred platform.
And until next time, bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.